All right, welcome back, friends. I am so glad that you could join me today. We are going to continue to talk about establishing a purpose for reading. Now, when we pick up a new text, whether it's a book or an article like the one that we have in front of us, we have to do some exploring before we even start reading. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we notice in this article. Now, one thing that I know is that the title is always important because it tells me what the text is going to be about. So I'm going to go ahead and just circle the title, which is The Accidental Invention of the Slip and Slide. Now, I love slip and slides. We have one in our backyard right now, and we have had lots of fun this summer with our slip and slide. But what do they mean by accidental invention? How in the world do you accidentally invent something? So I'm just going to write that because that's just one of my thoughts. How do you accidentally invent something? So another thing that grabs my attention pretty quickly is also this photograph. Now this little boy looks like he is having a blast. Look at how big his smile is. The caption under the photograph says the slip and slide was invented in the summer of 1960 by Robert Carrier and his 10-year-old son. So I'm gonna just highlight that right there. And I wonder, do you think that this is really his son? I wonder if that's a real picture of him or if that's just another boy. Is that really his son? I put a smiley face too, just because, again, I really think that he's having a good time. Now, just off of what I've seen so far, I'm pretty sure I know what type of story this is. Do you guys know what genre the story is? I think so too. I'm fairly certain that this is nonfiction. I think this because of the real photographs and the text features. Like this next page, there's a text feature here, and it looks like a diagram almost. Some kind of an illustration. And also, as I skim through the article and I just look quickly, I don't read everything, but just looking at some of the words, I notice that there are lots of names and dates, lots of numbers. So I bet it is filled with lots of facts and lots of details. I bet it's filled with them. So I haven't read the entire article, but I bet that if I did, I would learn about how the slip and slide was invented. If I wanted to learn a little bit about slip and slides, or maybe the history of slip and slides, because it goes back to 1961. Holy cow, that was forever ago. I wonder if the dinosaurs were around then. I bet that I would get a lot of information about the history of slip and slides. This would be a great article to start with. So let's read a little bit of the article and see if I can ask some more good questions as I read. Because remember, readers are always thinkers. I have to always be asking questions to make sure that I understand what I read. Kids everywhere love the slip and slide in summer. In fact, kids sparked the idea for its creation. How cool is that? It also makes me think though, so how in the world did a kid spark the idea? Now, it makes me think of a teacher that had me, I got to design like the perfect playground for an assignment one time, and this playground could have anything I wanted. I wonder if that kid had to do an assignment like that, and that's how they came up with the slip and slide. Who knows? So in 1960, Robert Carrier had returned home from work. Carrier saw his 10-year-old son, Mike, with friends. They had turned the hose on the painted concrete driveway. It created a cool, slippery surface to play on. The boys were sliding down it. Now, I don't know about you, but slippery concrete? I just think that's painful when I think about concrete. I don't know how concrete could be slippery. Robert Carrier told the boys it was dangerous, says Tim Walsh. He's author of Timeless Toys, Classic Toys, and the Playmakers who created them. So I've just read part of it, and I did a lot of exploring before I even read the article. But I've asked a lot of questions, and I am pretty certain that this is nonfiction based on all of the facts and details that I see. So we're going to continue later, and we're going to continue to look at the facts and details, and we're going to try and start to separate some of them to see what's really important versus what's maybe just an interesting detail. So we'll continue with this article later. Thanks so much, guys.